Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about Arrow, Season 5, Episode 5. It's called Human Target. Full spoilers for the episode, as always. So, we left last week with Renee being captured by Church, and obviously a big part of the start of this episode is the team trying to find him. Although they did actually end up getting to him a lot earlier than I was expecting. In fact, I was almost prepared to enjoy this episode, and I'll tell you why. I actually thought Connor's very drunk, by the way. You can see it in his
Just,
face. I'm just
just for the record, this week it is courtesy of Fire Eater, a cinnamon bit flavored whiskey liqueur. Perfect for this. Now we're in November. It's the winter season. It's a nice little heat to warm you up in the winter months. It's good stuff.
yeah. So I actually thought the scene early on in the episode at the start with the whole team trying to track down where Church was kind of fun.
Hmm.
I'm finding that whenever Ragman uses his powers, I actually kind of like it. It's unique. It's interesting.
It's growing on me where they go, the tendrils just kind of
Yeah.
grab stuff. It's
Yeah.
kind of
So for
fun.
people who say we're always negative about Arrow, I'm giving you some positives up front. I actually kind of liked where this was going at the start because I thought the whole episode would be them finding Renee. I thought that would be the whole thing, and I was kind of looking forward to that playing out.
And then they just ripped it out from underneath you.
And then we got him very easily about 10 minutes in, and then we get this weird psychological trance, not trance, but like hypnosis almost with Diggle, which I thought was really weird and goofy.
Renee says, "Oh, I'm not into all this hippie nonsense," and I
Yeah.
was going, "Yeah, I don't want to see this hippie nonsense either. Just get on with it."
Oh dear. I mean, I think that's probably the biggest problem with this episode is that a lot of things just felt really easy. Like finding Renee and more specifically getting Renee, because he doesn't even go with the team. Oliver just goes on his own and it's fine. It just, it happens and it's over. And then later on in the episode, like when Renee realizes where Church is going to be, they show up and they take Church down, his entire crew, in like 60 seconds. It's
So the worst
done.
part is they were like, "Oh, that's 20 minutes from now." Like they were like, "Oh, we haven't got time to make a plan or
Curtis doesn't
barely
have
even
time to
get
do
there."
his hair. Curtis's
Yeah,
hair.
how the hell does he do that?
Yeah.
Magic, I'm telling you.
Yeah. So Curtis has done his hair in 20 minutes somehow, but he managed it. Um, but again, some of the action stuff in that scene was okay as well. Like I feel like the action occasionally is quite good, especially when it's Ragman stuff or when it's flipping between characters. The fight that I didn't like all that much was Green Arrow and Church one on one.
Yeah, that one was pretty stale. I don't think there
Yeah,
was much going on in it, whereas the others had interesting choreography. There was stuff going on, whereas that was just straight up just two guys at each other.
yeah. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't as bad as the Green Arrow Damien Dark punch to punch fight from the finale
I'm
last year.
honestly not sure anything in this show, like fight wise, can be worse than that. Because even when it was pretty bad, we were rarely complaining about the fight choreography because we,
That's
we might have
because
complained about the stunt doubles, whatever, but generally speaking, it was all right.
I think up until the last half of season four, because it had still been pretty decent. Uh, but the second half of season four definitely dropped the ball there, which was weird because it was like that was the one thing it was still kind of good at, and then it kind of stopped being good at that. This season so far has been kind of mixed. There's been some good moments in the fights, but there's also been kind of crummy fights as well. So it's kind of hard to judge it on a whole. And this episode was no different. Some good, some bad, uh, what have you. I will say this: Felicity legitimately made me laugh twice. One of which was definitely intentional.
Which one?
So Oliver, because Renee, even though when he goes to find Renee, Renee's like, "Oh, like he broke me, and I told him who you were," and I'm like, "You don't seem that broken."
So that was the thing because that scene, he was digging his own grave, and I thought that was meant to be still like further adding towards the whole thing was,
Yeah,
oh, you'll tell me because you'll be afraid. I thought that was meant to be an intimidation tactic of
yeah, it never actually
making him be
happened.
broken.
We got that scene of him telling him this story about intimidating and how making him fear the pain was worse. And then we never actually see any of it go through. It just cuts to this digging in the grave thing, and then we find out that between those two scenes at some point he broke him, but they built it all up and we didn't get any of it. It was
Yeah,
really weird.
I really assume that digging the grave was part of that,
Yeah.
that intimidation, which would have made perfect sense, frankly. Like, to give it credit where it was like that's something that should be used as making someone afraid, making you dig your own grave.
Yeah, it was weird. Again, it was a sign of things being too. Except in this sense, it was from Church's perspective, it was too easy. But it was just this off-screen thing, and he's like, "Oh, they broke me." And it's even worse because later on in the episode, he's like talking about all the times he's messed up, and he doesn't want to relive it, and he's like borderline crying, saying, "I don't want to go back and think about it." I'm like, "We never seen this. You're going on about something that happened off screen as if it wasn't that important. It's weird. I don't know. It's just focusing on the wrong things. However, because of all this, because Church knows who Oliver is, his plan is to assassinate the mayor rather than fight the Green Arrow. So we have this scene halfway through the episode where there's like a drive-by, Oliver gets shot, we see blood spurt out and everything, and I'm like, huh, okay. Obviously he's not dead.
Is this still leading to the Felicity being funny thing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, this is all set up for the Felicity being funny. And then we cut to, Lance, and he announces on TV that Oliver Queen's been pronounced dead, and we're like, yeah, sure. Sure he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, good luck with that. Because, don't get me wrong, I would love it if they did kill him off, just because it would be the most ballsy thing that Arrow could do, would be to actually have to replace him as the lead.
So I'd almost like give them credit for it, because
Yeah.
even if it didn't work and it was like, okay, it was a bad move, I'd give them credit for trying.
Yeah. But of course, if it did happen, it wouldn't be weirdly like halfway through an episode like this. Like,
Yeah,
it was
it'd be
obviously
like a mid-season or a season finale.
season finale. It'd probably be the big, it'd be like the end of. Well, I don't want to spoil that season of Buffy, but
I could see them doing it as a mid-season thing, and then seeing the rest
Well,
of the
no, no,
season
no, no,
finale.
no. They did it as a mid-season thing, and then they chickened out 5 minutes into the next episode.
They did.
That was season
Fell off
3.
a cliff. He was stabbed and pushed off a cliff,
And-
and he got better from some magic tea.
Well, that's not even just that. He was also in like freezing cold temperatures. So he was bleeding out after falling off a cliff in freezing cold temperatures.
Well, the cold would help him.
With that?
Sure, when you're cold, your blood flow slows down. So that's why that's how cryogenics works. Keeps you alive longer.
Well, yeah, but he's lying with an open wound in
Yeah,
the freezing cold.
and the cold would make the blood slow faster, so he wouldn't bleed out as much.
Would that not just help him freeze to death quicker?
Well, I mean, alternatively, there's that. That's a potential thing.
Yeah, it's a pretty big
But
potential thing.
In terms of in reference to him being pushed off a cliff and stabbed, the cold probably helps.
If you were hanging out topless and like on Everest, you'd be dead pretty reasonably quickly.
Oh yeah.
Because let's keep in mind he was
I
topless.
don't know why I'm
during
arguing this.
Yeah.
That was dreadful.
Yeah, well-
Because that episode, where he got pushed off the cliff, pretty good, and
Yeah.
then afterwards, pretty awful.
Yeah, it was the next episode that was bad. The episode where he actually died, quote unquote.
Probably the best episode of the season, to be honest.
Probably, yeah, because it was actually kind of interesting. But yeah, so we see him kind of die. At least it looks like that. We cut to the bunker. I was just trying to remember what they called it, the cave.
You just really don't want to call it the Arrow Cave.
I really don't want to call it
I
that.
still don't understand why they didn't take inspiration from the Injustice comic and just call it the Quiver.
Yeah, Quiver's a good name for it. It really
Just
is.
is.
But yeah, so Oliver's there. He's fine. He's behind everyone else, and they're talking about how they're going to keep up the charade. And someone says, "How did we do this?" And then in walks Oliver Queen from the elevator, and he pulls off the mask, Mission Impossible style, to reveal someone that we've not seen before on the show. But it's the Human Target, who is a DC Comics character, and that's kind of cool. That's kind of fair. I actually kind of liked him. I thought his attitude and like the way he sort of played everything was fine. Like he was cool. He was
In all but one scene, I agree.
sure, but he seemed likable enough. He didn't annoy me. I thought he was, he was nice enough. But anyway, he pulls off the mask and he puts it down. And this is where we get to Felicity being funny. She puts on the Oliver Queen sort of latex style mask over her face, almost like a leather face or something like that. Really creepy. And then goes in a really gruff voice, "You have failed this city."
Not gonna lie, cracked me up.
That was funny. That was a proper joke.
Yeah, credit where it's due.
I
That was
will
good.
I will give it that. Also later on when Renee from the information he remembers after the weird Diggle hypnosis thing, he like pieces together like the location that he thinks Church is at, and Felicity says that's a bigger leap than Curtis made in
The Beijing Olympics.
Beijing Olympics. Yeah, I don't know if that was meant to be as
I can't
funny as
tell
it was.
either, but it made me laugh.
Yeah, it made me laugh. So fair play. Unfortunately, elsewhere in the episode, we did have Felicity romance with Oliver, kind of awkward stuff because she's not told him about her new boyfriend. He inadvertently finds out about the new boyfriend. He goes to see her about the new boyfriend. They discuss her new boyfriend.
Sorry, while we're on that, he jumps onto her balcony, which this is what I don't get. I mean, I know this is holdover from season 4, but it's still bothering me. This was their apartment, right?
Before it was their apartment, it was
But it was
Thea's
Thea's apartment, yeah. So why did he have to move out? Surely, what?
It's more his than it is hers. Yeah, I don't get it either.
Okay, glad it's not just me.
I don't get it either. What I also don't get is like, he just sort of like jumps onto the balcony. This is meant to be a penthouse almost, or if it's
Yeah,
not.
where does he jump from?
Yeah, they're implying that he's climbed up all the way up the fire escape, which, okay, sure, but I don't know, it just felt really goofy. It felt like one of those things where he jumps out from off camera, but you know that he's really just on a box, like just off screen, like jumping into the scene.
It was just awkward.
Yeah, but yeah, they talk about the new boyfriend, and then she comes by his office, and they talk about Felicity's new boyfriend.
And that's the bit that
somehow.
cracks me up because he's with a human target and he says, "Speak of the devil." She walks in, she goes, "Am I the devil?" And it's like you can feel a disturbance in the force, and all of Reddit cries out, "Yes, yes, you are."
Do you know what? I hate to say something positive about Felicity.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Oliver,
Can we just stop this for a second? I feel like we've been like more positive than negative on this episode. I don't know what's going on.
I've been fairly negative. I've brought up a lot of negative points.
I still feel we're skewing positive.
I will say that I didn't think this scene in his office, talking about them both moving on and giving each other a chance to have something new, I didn't think it was as awful as I was expecting it to be.
No, when it started, I groaned because I was like, "Oh my god!" But
Because
then it wasn't all.
what they were saying to each other was fairly reasonable, and it didn't feel too forced. It felt kind of like mature adults moving on with things, so it didn't upset me like some of their scenes occasionally do. Although I do want to point out that Felicity has been lying to Oliver. Do you remember a big theme from season 4 where she was really upset if he lied about anything? As was Donna Smoke as well.
Oh, thank God she's not around.
Oh, she'll be back. Donna will be
No,
back.
no, she won't. She's dead, remember? She's in heaven. Don't ruin this for me.
Just a casino in Vegas.
Don't ruin this for me.
She's coming back. Don't you worry.
She might have been in the casino in Vegas, but then she drunk so much that she passed out and got run over, and now she's actually in heaven.
Yeah. If I've been too positive for you, Connor, let me get in some negative stuff.
Oh, God.
So, yeah, everything with Renee felt kind of forced and forced drama.
It's not the word I'd use to describe everything in Renee this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Hokey.
Is that a joke because he wears a hockey mask?
No, it wasn't.
Okay, right,
Although,
just
I
check.
wish I'd thought of that. Damn it. Like, everything just seemed like, yeah, well, we're going to do some stuff. And, yeah, it's going to be cool. Why not?
It just, everything about, like, the him remembering stuff and getting over it just felt kind of forced. Diggle's whole speech just felt forced. Oh, Diggle's got a new helmet. He looks less like Magneto now, so that's a plus.
And I did crack up when one of the guys said, "Oh, nice helmet."
Yeah, that was a Human Target said that.
That's what it was.
Also, Evelyn awkwardly standing there and saying, what's Diggle's superhero name?
Spartan.
Spartan. Yeah, stupid name. But she stands and goes, "Oh, Spartan's such a badass." And then Mr. Terrific's like, "Yeah, the baddest." I'm like, what? Why does Diggle have this reputation? I don't.
All he's done is shoot like 3 guys. You've done more than that at this point.
I don't get it. But of course, Prometheus shows up halfway through the episode and threatens Church, and at the end, he kills every single policeman who has escorted him to Iron Heights.
See, I'm not gonna lie, I'd really like to see that because I want to know how he did it. Because there's like 40 of the damn guys there, and they're all dead in like 3 seconds, and we hear a lot of bullets.
I hate to defend something on Arrow. I really do. but I'm going to kind of defend this last scene.
Go on.
No, well, not the end of the last scene. We'll talk about why the end is stupid, but the whole, all this going on out around the outside, and only and being inside from Church's perspective, I think does as a good technique. It builds more
I agree. I'm just questioning the logistics.
dread and menace, or of the situation. Admittedly, if we cared more about Church, we might care more about what's going on, and that's an issue because Church has been awful. He's been an awful villain. He's been very one note. He says things in really stupid monologues, and he's just goofy and hokey, to use the word that you enjoyed earlier.
Yeah. Bringing it back around. Nice.
Bringing it back around, and yeah, so Prometheus opens up the back of the armored car, and Church.
This is where it loses me.
Yeah, Church is all, look, let me go. We'll be cool. I'll tell you who Green Arrow is. I can give him to you. I know his name, and then you'll know. Well, actually,
at that point, I'm cool with that.
Actually, let's pause that there. I want to go back to an earlier scene. So after they've beat Church, as Oliver's saying goodbye to the human target says, "Oh, so now Church has been incarcerated. You don't have to worry about your identity getting out." And he's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "What? How? What's to stop him from talking in prison?"
He could literally tell the guards if he wanted to.
Yeah, or other prisoners. He could tell his lawyer. He could tell lots of people.
I know.
This is stupid. But anyway, but then Church in this scene with Prometheus just immediately says, "The Green Arrow is Oliver Queen." Are we cool?
Why would you give up your bargaining chip? It's like, okay, I know who he is. You don't. That is the one thing keeping you alive right now. You stupid cock.
Which is funny because I actually thought the way the scene was going to play out is he was going to be like, "I know who it is. If you let me go,
anyway.
I'll tell you." And then I thought what was going to happen is Prometheus was going to kill him and then say, "I already know." Cut to credit. I thought that was going to be the end.
That would have been pretty,
Yeah.
It would have been a perfectly acceptable ending. This makes no sense.
Yeah, this would have made him intimidating. It would have made him seem like someone who clearly knows more about what's going on. He's closer to Oliver.
Or at least someone who does his damn research.
Yeah, sure. But we found out in Legends of Tomorrow it's not actually that hard to figure out that he's the Green Arrow, so, whatever. But no, Church just gives up his one bit of leverage, and then, of course, Prometheus just kills him, and that's the end of the episode.
Do you know what we didn't talk about yet?
What have we not talked about?
Not Deathstroke.
Oh, that's right. Church has a Deathstroke imitator to supposedly kill the Green Arrow and then kill the mayor, and then he's just around, and then the human target shoots him, and that's him gone.
I don't even name him at any point.
If he's meant to be a character from the comics, I have no idea who he's meant to be. He didn't look like anyone other than Deathstroke, kinda.
Yeah, no one immediately sprung to mind when I saw him, and I was like, okay, I'm sure this is meant to be someone because it always is. And I thought, they're going to give us a name drop, and it's going to be okay, and then it's going to be someone going forward. No, screw that. I'm just going to kill him. Why not?
Yeah, that about sums it up.
So all in all, not actually that bad an episode of Arrow.
No, it was better than the last couple. I think because there was some better action, and Human Target was, pretty fun for the most part.
And some legitimate jokes.
Flashbacks were still terrible, and they had to tie in the Human Target to that.
That's the way I say, there's one scene with him I hated. Absolutely. Yeah. Why? Just the flashbacks they weren't good, but they weren't really bad either. I was fine with just letting them carry on their thing.
There was
we got to tie in, haven't we?
Well, the first complaint about the flashbacks is there's still no Dolph Lundgren. I have been waiting now for 5 episodes for Dolph Lundgren, and he's still not shown up. Instead, I'm getting lots of actors who can barely attempt a Russian accent. I don't know if you were noticing some of the dodgy accents in this one.
I'm far too drunk to notice accents.
I can't do an accent. I'm going to try. I was going to try and do a bad Russian accent, but I can't. In Mother Russia, no, I can't do it. So basically the entire plot of the flashbacks in this one is that he has his final little sort of initiation where he just meets the other brothers from Bratva. He goes to a party where they're all celebrating. Other Bratva man doesn't trust them, lures him out into an alley. His Bratva sort of cronies beat him up, attempting to kill him. Other one shows up, kills 2 of them, pulls off a mask, it's a Human Target, walks off into the night.
I like how Anatoly is like, yeah, go for that sexy woman, and then he knowing that it's a trap, it's like, yeah, go on. You might get killed, but it's worth the risk.
Yeah, so yeah, flashbacks are still kind of pointless, and I don't care. And of course, the plot point that comes out of it though is that this reporter, this journalist lady who's been harassing Oliver and like giving him a lot of crap, gets hands on a photograph of him in Russia. And of course, as far as everyone else is concerned, and to be fair, as far as we were concerned, and I'm pretty sure as far as the writers knew, in season one, this was when he was meant to be still on an island
Yeah, because he's got about what 6 months to grow one hell of a beard.
and long hair. Yeah, I mean, sure, he's already got kind of longish hair, but it's nowhere near as long as the.
I buy 6 months. Don't wash it for a couple, you know, and buy that. But I don't know.
Yeah, he had a huge beard at the start of that pilot.
It was like right out here, wasn't it?
Yeah,
With a big bushy beard.
a great big bushy beard.
That's the one.
Yeah, that's a Hot Fuzz reference for anyone who didn't know why I put that voice on. Jim Broadbent, what a man.
It's fantastic.
I do love that man. Detective Slater. No, sorry, Inspector Slater from
National treasure.
Only Fools and Horses. Okay, all the Americans are tuning out because they have no idea what we're talking about now. That said, you probably may have seen Hot Fuzz. Hot Fuzz is quite popular there too. So, not a bad episode of Arrow, all things considered. Still annoyed me a lot. Like, there's still a lot of there's a lot of characters in Arrow I just don't like that much. So, you know, when he goes to his office and Thea's complaining about something, or you know, or they're arguing about something, or there's scenes where Oliver's talking to a guy.
It's just hard to care.
Yeah, the zoning board guy, like, that he's talking to in this episode about getting this thing approved, and like scenes like this, I'm just kind of like, I don't care about this, and I'm kind of frustrated because of it. So it still frustrates me, but I will concede where I can concede. I think this episode was better than the last couple and had some fun moments.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with that.
I'm sure it'll all go downhill next week, but for now, that's Arrow. Let us know what you thought of that episode in the comments below. Like and subscribe and all that stuff. It helps us out a lot. Thank you very much for watching, guys. We will see you next time.